And Clinton Smith is with us this morning. Let's get it rolling.
GCES.
Clinton, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
Wonderful, and it's good to have you with us here today. GCES, and Galen not able to be with us today, but you are, and so we want to talk a little bit. Now, one of the things that I've always been interested in with GCES, and Galen is one who, I probably should have asked him this the last time he was here, but he talks quite often about the different products that he can use, the different methods and ways in which he can go. And it really is a case-by-case basis. But the process of deciding, okay, what's the best product for this person as opposed to this person over here? So I've got a 50-year-old guy who's really thinking hard now about his retirement years and wants to really start on my left. And over to my right, I've got a guy or a lady who's 30 years old and is just getting started in her work career on a relative basis. And so I've got to decide what's the product that fits them both best.
So a lot of it, one of the great things about us is that we are independent, right? So if you go to a certain place, all of those big names that you see out there that have their names on multiple buildings in different places, you go into those places, you're going to kind of get products that they have. The good thing about us being independent is that we can kind of look at all of the different companies that have different products and try to figure out which ones works best for each person. But the age gaps that you're saying, like 30 versus 50, there's just going to be so many different things for the 30-year-old versus the 50-year-old. Once you get a little bit closer to retirement, you're going to want to be in stuff that's a little bit more conservative. You don't want to be playing with your money too hard if it's all the money that you have and you're right there next to retirement. Mm-hmm. So a lot of it really comes down to him sitting down with the person. I know he has a couple of his favorite products. We have one that I believe has a 15% bonus. So you can roll your money. You have $100,000. As soon as you roll it into an annuity product, you can get a 15% bonus and you walk away with $115,000 just for transferring the money. Mm-hmm. And that's just one example. If somebody wanted to build more principal and more value, that's an easy, quick way to do it. The guaranteed income for life, that's another thing, because different companies offer it for different age groups, but the payout might be just a little bit different. You might get an extra $100 to go to this company versus that company. So it's really, because it's based off of each individual family, once he knows what those needs are, whether it's the lifetime income or whether they just want to protect their principal, or maybe they have an extra $100,000 that they didn't really expect to have, then that can go into something high risk if you want to play for it. So it's customized to each individual family. Yeah. Even though we can sell multiple products to different people, he figures out what that family needs or what they want, what their goals are, and then just finds the right product to fit it.
Sort of like the shoe salesman, finding the right fit.
The right size, yeah.
That's one thing. Now, here you've got a guy again, or a lady who is really nearing retirement, but they've been doing it themselves for all these years, and they think that they've got a pretty good nest egg that they've built up. However, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let's go and say we've saved $300,000 in the course of our work life for our retirement years, but really have no idea. How do I set that up for when I actually retire? I know that in my bank accounts, I've got all kinds of different CDs and IRAs and things, but to me, they're just a shoebox full of papers.
Yeah.
I need to set this up for my retirement now. What do I do?
Call us and make an appointment.
Hurry.
Yeah. Honestly, Galen has sat down at people's houses where for a half an hour, they're going and finding paperwork all over their house. Mm-hmm. The easiest thing is pull all of that stuff together, get it all in one place, call us, and we can sit down and go through it. Because whether you have CDs or, bonds, those are going to act differently than an IRA. And it's really sitting down, and we separate into piles where all of your income is going to come from. Some people might have a pension, so we take that into effect and figure out how much that'll pay you each month. Then we do Social Security, because typically like pension, Social Security, those are monthly payments. And then the investments and stuff, that can all kind of be customized to how you want to do it. A lot of people just want a monthly payment and just want to leave it in there, forget about it. But we also have products where you can get a checkbook that if you ever wanted to write checks and have it be really liquid, that you can do that too. So it's really honestly, it's about what you want and what your goals are, and then getting us to understand that and us finding the right product to fit it.
Retirement savings in the last 30 or 40 years have changed so often and so rapidly.
Yeah.
And somebody might have had a traditional old-style pension plan when they started their work career, and 15 or 20 years later, their company changed to a whole different style of thing, and then it changed again.
Yeah.
And so they've got 2, 3, 4 different plans for retirement that their company has transitioned them into. They really have no idea where they're supposed to start with this, do they?
No. Usually, I mean, we talk to federal employees that have worked there since I've been alive, since 1984, that are civil service, because civil service was anyone hired in the federal government before 1984. And that all relied heavily on the pension. You didn't need the thrift savings plan or investments or extra money on the side. You would just retire with that pension. So kind of look at it like historically, like pensions aren't really around anymore. If you have a pension, it's probably something older. Companies don't offer it. We were just talking about Detroit. I think Detroit Teachers Union completely lost their pension after people worked there for 40 years. So pensions are kind of the old style retirement where you worked, you got that, you didn't have to worry about anything else. Now, even the amount of money that you need is increased in the last 20 years that you need in retirement. Like what they're projecting that I'll need by the time that I retire is a lot higher than what people are needing today. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, they're guessing that it really depends on how much money you make. And that's kind of how we figure out what people need. Because when everyone gets that shoebox together and they're sitting down and they're like, okay, what do I do with all this? It's really about how much money are you going to make from it each month in retirement and when you can make that money. Because 59 and a half, you can't really draw your investments until you're 59 and a half without penalty, just IRS law. Mm-hmm. So it's taking and using each different piece that you've built up over time and trying to make it all work together in retirement.
Do you find that there are many, many people who are, in a way like me, that just have a plan in place, but they're not really sure what that plan is, that somebody else has set it up for them, and they really haven't paid all that much attention to it, and they're just figuring, someday maybe I ought to sit down and really figure this out?
Yeah, that's honestly just about everyone. People don't like planning it until they're ready to plan it. Sometimes people are forced into planning it just because of health issues and stuff like that. But just about everyone that we run into is in that position. Mm-hmm. And that's why we've always said we're not going to blow smoke whenever we sit down with you. If you're not going to make as much money to retire as you are working today, we have to tell you. We're not going to lie and say, oh, we have this amazing product that's going to fix everything. If you don't have enough money, it's not going to work out right. So really taking the time to sit down with someone, I would say in your 40s, 50s, 55, and then every 2 years as you get close to retirement after 55. Mm-hmm. The longer you prepare and the sooner you look at it, the more we can do with the final result of retirement.
Yeah. You have probably many success stories from your days working with strictly government employees. Now you've expanded GCES to where you're taking on anybody.
Yeah.
And I'm sure those success stories are starting to come in right now. But at the same time, it's new for folks in the general populace. So there are some really exciting possibilities for them. And I guess I'd say you're just in the business of opening those possibilities up for them, showing them some things.
We have been, I would say, very blessed and lucky. We actually came into this from a Craigslist ad when we moved back to Florida, and Galen answered a Craigslist ad and started working with federal employees. I was working as a restaurant manager at that time. We've had great people work underneath us. We have great girls at our office now. So it's not just me and Galen. It's taken a whole team of us to get to where we are. But we've gotten here because we only do what's right for the people. Do you know what I mean? We want to be able to sleep at night. Mm-hmm. There's so many things that can go wrong. There's so many people that might not have integrity. And whenever we sit down with people, we want to make sure that we're able to sleep at night and we're doing the right thing for them. And that's why we've been, we are almost 80% referral inside of the federal market, where we meet with one person and they refer us to 2 or 3 other people. Mm-hmm. So it's been an awesome time, I would say. We like doing it. Galen has fun doing it. That's why he's not with me today. He's in Michigan right now meeting with more federal employees. So It's been good over the years.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about that because we're talking basically on an individual basis with people right now, but I'm sure that you're open to companies inviting you in and saying, hey, come on in, meet with our employees, and tell us what you can do for them.
Yeah, absolutely. We on the federal level, we do that with a lot of unions. So we go to a lot of APWU meetings and stuff like that, and different union halls, and meet with federal employees through that. But if any company has an interest in talking to us and getting us to come in and show us what we can do for your people, please let us know. We've done a lot of stuff. We know a lot of people in the community. We've done a ton of stuff in the community. So that's we've gotten to meet a ton of people. But even people that I was friends with for years asked us right before we started doing the show, hey, can you work with everyone? I'm like, yes.
Yeah, you didn't have as many restrictions as maybe people might have thought.
Yeah.
Simply because of the way that you were marketed before and your name.
Yeah. We have always done well with federal employees. The problem is that we have to travel over a long span of space. So Galen's in Michigan today. He was in Ohio yesterday. He comes home today, and then tomorrow he might be in Philly. So he's going over a lot of place, and we do great things for people. That's why we want to bring it back here to our community and help the people here in our community have better retirement plans.
Yeah. Okay. So all that being the case, what should people be doing today if they want to meet with you guys and set up an appointment? Are there things that they should be doing right now? A checklist that they should be following?
Get that shoebox together. Get all of the things that you have. If you have some people have honestly a huge shoebox where they bought a policy from everyone that ever sold insurance that came and talked to them. Right? There's people like that. And then there's some people that don't have any clue what they have. So if you have no clue, just come in. We'll help you figure it out. A paycheck is usually the easiest thing, so we can look at your deductions and see where you're filtering money out every month.
Yeah.
But get that shoebox together and really just give us a call. The first step is just getting into an appointment. The first appointment is not that painless. It takes an hour, maybe 2 hours at the most. And from there, we can get you on the right track.
Bit of a treasure hunt for you too, isn't it? Especially if somebody has had multiple jobs with multiple companies, then they have multiple probably savings plans that have been instituted in their behalf. So as much as you can get a look at each of those companies would help you to follow that map.
Yeah. Ultimately, whenever we have somebody with a big shoebox like that, we try to funnel things in together. It's not so much about diversification at that point as it is of organization, because once you have it all organized, you have it all in the same spot, you know how much money. If you have 10 different accounts with 10 different balances, 10 different interest rates, it becomes very confusing. So we try to pull all of those things together that we can that are in the same tax classification, so that pre-tax can go together, after tax has to go together. So we'll put stuff together, make it a little bit more organized, and then really we're their one-stop shop.
Real quick, people want to talk with you folks, what do they need to do?
Give us a call, 724-915-0000, or stop by our office at 1780 Philadelphia Street.
He's Clinton Smith with us here this morning. Now, you guys are going to be back next week, because this should have been last week, but it was Labor Day.
Yes.
So you're going to be back with us next week with an update.
It was so weird. I lost my voice the last time. I wasn't sick. I felt fine, but I had no voice. So
see, that was the Lord saying, it's Galen's turn.
Yeah, take a week off.
Today it was Clinton's turn. It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. And Jake in the newsroom coming up right now, CBS Sports.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone.